Still going, right there.
Oh, okay. Oh, that one. All right, so I brought no PowerPoint, no slides, no chocolate bars. All right, personal protective equipment.
Bring treats. I wish you had
So, personal protective equipment is basically equipment used to protect yourself. Thank you. Any questions? If there are no questions, we'll move back to Doug. So all workplaces, whether they be a welding shop, a clerk's office, the library, public works, they all have hazards associated with them. And per OSHA standard 3151-12R, all employers are responsible for providing a safe and healthy workplace. Not necessarily a happy workplace, but safe and healthy. General requirements are in 29 CFR 1910, should you want to look it up and check my stats. There are plenty of chapters on specifics, whether it be footwear, hard hats, eye protection. It's just pages and pages and pages. And pages too. Thank you, Mike. So the employer is required to perform a hazards assessment of the workplace. So I go through and I look at every task that it is that we do in our facility. And from that I write a narrative of the task, the possible or the potential hazards, and then how we can avoid being injured from them. There's 3 different ways that OSHA says you can mitigate the problem. And the personal protective equipment is the last resort. They prefer engineering controls and then policy controls before personal protective equipment. An engineering control is building a barrier between the employee and the hazard. Like a saw guard would be an engineering control. We have 6 downstroke bailers, and of those 5 have a door that we have to pull down before the ram will come down. And that would be an engineering control, so that you can't put your hand in there. And then the last one, then we have a policy in place that says you don't put your hands in the baler when it's running, right? With our horizontal baler, then it has a conveyor that we sort the material as it goes up. And we have a policy control on that states 2 people have to be working the machine at once in case one happens to fall on the belt, the other can shut it off. The town of Bridgeton had the same machine, and when they were using it, they had an engineering control where the individual wore a tether that was connected to a shut-off switch, so if he happened to move 6 feet away from his workstation, it would shut off the machine, which then ended that. What's going on back there? Yeah, no, thank you. So soon, Judy, but look, I have pages and pages and pages. All right, so when engineering controls or policy controls are not enough, then personal protective equipment comes in. So like we have leather gloves, nitrile gloves, Kevlar gloves, hearing protection, face shields, steel toe shoes, all for different applications of jobs that we perform. And it's important that, and these are supplied, and it's required by OSHA that they be supplied at no cost to the employee. As important as it is to provide this equipment, is to train the people on how and when to use it and to make sure that they use it. Back in the early 80s, I worked in a boat shop down in Rollinsford, New Hampshire. And we were between boats to build, and we got a contract to make fiberglass canoes. Well, most of us there had experience with fiberglass and different chemicals involved, but they hired one guy off the street who really wasn't very bright. And he refused to wear rubber gloves because it was too girly. They were provided by the employer, but he refused to wear them. The management never paid any attention. Instead, he washed daily with methylene chloride. Well, it doesn't hurt me yet, and we kept telling him this is stupid, stop doing that, but he wouldn't. And one Monday morning, he came into work, took off his long sleeve shirt, and exposed arms just as black as could be. And not just a little, it looked like you could just peel the flesh right off his bones. I never saw him again. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him, but I would suspect liver, kidney damage from absorbing all of that, and management really dropped the ball by not paying attention to what was going on. So I'd say that, so just to close up, because we're almost out of time, the important aspects of the OSHA standard, your employer, the town of Gray, is required and has an obligation to provide you with any equipment you need to stay safe. And they need to provide you with necessary equipment and training to go along with it, supervision, and even though it's an excellent solvent, never wash with methylene chloride. Any questions?
Nope.
No.